Hello, my name is Eric Putkonen. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to be talking about the world does not much affect the jnani. This originally was a question that I was going to answer in the Q&A, but those are very short, like 2-minute answers. And I'm finding this answer is going to be much longer, so I'm doing a longer format. But a lot of times I'll get the question phrased in some way of, how do you not let external circumstances, events, disasters, how do you keep it from derailing you? And unfortunately, this question implicitly implies a me that's believed in some way, a me that can be derailed, a me that could resist or deny or have a problem with what's happening. And that really doesn't apply for the jnani. To say how can I keep from being derailed means there's a me that's still being believed. But after enlightenment, for the jnani, there's only the self. There is nothing to resist, nothing to deny. I mean, if a tornado comes down and destroys your house, that's what happens. it's kind of different. I mean, the jnani doesn't look upon this as a great personal loss, a disaster for me. The question of how do I keep this kind of disaster from derailing me implies that you see it as a loss. That if a tornado touches down and wipes out the home you've been living in, you've now sustained a personal loss. And of course, as long as you believe in a me and you believe in personal loss, that's going to derail the ego and derail you, of course. But if you don't believe in a me and you don't believe in loss, then this is just a simple happening. It's not personal. It happened. You can't deny it. You can't resist it. Any kind of conflict or resisting it isn't going to change the fact of what had happened. And so the jnani kind of rolls with the punches. It doesn't affect them so. It's not really a disaster. Even terminal disease of the body. I mean, take Ramana Maharshi and other teachers that you can look up and find. In sickness and even in the final moments of the body's lifetime, they weren't particularly upset about it. It's not that big of a deal. It's a different way that the world is perceived and understood. If you can be derailed, that means there's a me that's can be derailed, a me that sees disaster, loss, gain, hierarchies, things like that. And when the me is believed, enlightenment hasn't happened yet. As long as the me is trying to fake it, it has to try to remember. It may in good times you may be able to fake it pretty well and go, well, yeah, I've got this. But as soon as disaster or a negative happening occurs, then yeah, you get derailed because the ego kicks in and goes, what is this? How am I supposed to cope with this? This is a huge loss, and all this stuff arises. But this only arises so long as the root, the fundamental belief in a me remains, that there is another, that something should be other than it is. All human bodies were born and die. Death is inevitable. Death of the body is inevitable. It is a certainty. And this is not a loss. It is not something to be resisted and fought and feared. You don't seek it out, of course, but you live, and when the time comes, it comes. And this is the case for all bodies. And as there's no attachment, and there's no my or mine with anything, it doesn't particularly matter what stays and goes. It wasn't yours. Things come, things go. Let what comes come, let what goes go. Just be with what is. And appreciate what is as it is for as long as it is, because it won't last long. And it's a different mindset. And so when I get these questions sometimes, it's hard to answer, because a lot of times they imply a me. And all I can say is, well, there is no me, so it doesn't apply. The question, once the illusion of the me shatters and is deeply, fundamentally rooted out, the fundamental belief in a me no longer exists. There's no me to resist what is. There's no me to be in conflict with what is. And so if some negative happening occurs or disaster occurs, it's not resisted, be it tornado, disease, whatever. Fighting it mentally, not accepting it, struggling against it, yeah, that will derail and cause suffering and a bunch of other stuff. But the jnani doesn't struggle against what is. What is accepted as it is. There is this total allowing, embracing of what is as it is. Also, there's never a playing with, not playing, but I guess entertaining and dwelling upon future possibility. No one knows really what the future will bring. And so you're not constantly pondering all these negative scenarios that the mind can bring forward. Because many of them, most of them, may never happen. Some of them are inevitably going to happen at some point. And in both cases, there's no point in dwelling on either. Instead, there's a focus on now. And what is now isn't resisted, denied. It's just allowed to be, because it already is. What are you going to do about it? You can only move on from now. And so, if a tornado touches down and takes out the house you were living in, you rebuild or look for another house or do something. That's fine. If you find you catch a disease of some kind, you go in for treatment if you feel like it, and see if it can be corrected. If it can't be corrected, then quality of life or whatever, maybe you decide not to get treated and just let it progress and live as you can for as long as you can. It doesn't particularly matter so much. There isn't this grasping, clinging that you must survive, you must carry on. There isn't this clinging and grasping with, I must have these things and they cannot leave me. It is only when we have this clasping and grasping and clinging on to things that when they inevitably depart, as all things are temporary, then it's considered a negative happening or disaster. And we're sent reeling because we were grasping onto it and it's been torn from our grasp. And so now we got to cope with this. But if you were never grasping in the first place and something falls away, it falls away. It's not that big of a deal. It's a different way of the world is being seen for the jnani, or one who has awakened or enlightened, or whatever term you want to use. But after this happening of enlightenment, there really isn't a derailing. It's not something that needs to be practiced or remembered or maintained or in some way kept going. Instead, there's this ever-present knowing that there is no other, and everything's accepted as it is. But I think that's it for today. If you have any questions, comments, please post below. I encourage you to subscribe to the channel if you have not. That way you can be notified of future videos or comments on the community tab. I'm hoping to use the community tab more if you haven't seen it for the channel. But until next time, thank you much.